I, Jyoti Singh Pariha, welcomes you all in today's session of Industrial Safety and Fire Management. Now, we are going to start the lecture number 2 under Module 1, that is Safety Policy and Budgeting for Safety. Safety policy and budgeting for safety are two critical components of an effective safety management system within an organization. But before starting the understanding of safety policy and budgeting for safety, we should be aware of the fact that is there any rules or regulation for creating such policies for different types of industries? Yes, there is a policy named National Policy on Safety, Health and Environment at Workplace. On the basis of directive principles, the Government of India, Ministry of Labour and Employment had declared the National Policy on Safety, Health and Environment at Workplace on 20th of February 2009. The purpose of this national policy is to establish a preventive safety health culture in the country through elimination of the incident of work injuries, diseases, disasters, and to enhance the well-being of employees in the sectors of economic activity in the country. The salient features of policies are as follows. This policy recognizes safe and health working environment as a fundamental human right. It aims at enhancing the well-being of employees and society at large by eliminating work-related injuries, diseases, etc. It enumerates the goals to be achieved and brings into focus the objective of continuous reduction in the incident of work-related injuries. Not only this, there are different laws which are formed to achieve these objectives. For an examples, we have the Factories Act that was developed in 1948. This act covers all the factories wherein the reinforcement of safety at workplace is done by the chief inspectors of factory in the respective states. We have another, the Mine Act, formed in 1952. This act is developed for mining industries, where the enforcement is done by the Directorate General of Mines Safety. In short, we have DGMS that comes under the Ministry of Labour and Employment, that also comes under the Government of India. Again, we have another law or act, that is Dock Workers Act, established in 1986. This act is followed by notification of dock workers regulation. It deals with major part of India and the enforcement is done by the Directorate General of Factory Advice Service and Labour Institute. This also comes under Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India. Another act what we are having is Building and the Other Constructions Worker Act, which was framed in year 1996. This act covers the construction workers at construction sites, wherein the enforcement is by the Directorate General of Labour Welfare in the central sphere by the Labour Commissioners or factory inspectors in the states or union territories. Apart from the four main legislation mentioned above, there are legislations related to certain substances, machineries, environment, which are also addresses certain issues of safety and health. These statutes are applicable to all sectors including unorganized sectors. The first legislation is Indian Boilers Act, which was developed in the year of 1923. This act is formed to consolidate and amend the law relating to steam boilers, the Indian Boilers Regulation 1950 and the Boilers Rules of respective states. The next legislation is Dangerous Machines Act, which was developed in the year of 1983. This is an act to provide the regulation of trade and commerce in production, supply and distribution and use of the product of any industry producing dangerous machine with a view to securing the welfare of laborers. This act also provides the regulation for payment of compensation for death while operating any machines and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The next legislation which we have is the Motor Transport Workers Act, which was developed in the year of 1961. This is an act is developed for the welfare of motor transport workers and to regulate the condition of their work. Legislation what we have is the Plantation Labours Act, which was developed in the year of 1951. This act is provided for the welfare of laborers and to regulate the condition of work in the plantations. The next legislation we have is the Bidi Cigars Workers Act, which was developed in the year of 1966. This act provides the welfare of the workers in bidi and cigar establishment and to regulate the condition of their work and for matters connected therewith. The respective state governments have notified the state rules under this act. The next legislation what we have is the Shop and Commercial Establishment Act. This act enacted by the respective state governments. This act covers items of cleanliness, ventilation, lighting, precaution against the fire and provision of first aid box. The next act is Electricity Act, which was formed in the year of 2003. This is an act to consolidate the law relating to generation, transmission, distribution, trading and use of electricity and generally for taking measures to development of electricity industry, promoting competition therein, protecting interest of consumers and supply of electricity to all the areas, rationalization of electricity tariff, ensuring transparent policies regarding subsidies, promotion of efficient and environmental policies, constitution of Central Electricity Authority and regulatory commissions. Not only this, we have Environmental Protection Act, Water Protection Act, Disaster Management Act and Air Protection Act, etc. As now we are familiar with different laws and acts formed for variety of industries, now we can proceed for understanding of safety policy which are created by industries while considering all safety measures asked by different laws. A safety policy is a statement of an organization commitment to providing a safe and healthy work environment for its employees. It sets out the guidelines, goals and responsibilities related to safety and defines the organizational overall approach to managing safety. A well-written safety policy should be clear, concise and reflects organizational value and culture. It should also outline the roles and responsibilities of all the employees regarding safety, including management commitment to provide necessary resources for safety implementation. Now we will discuss about the development of implementation and of safety policy. In development and implementation of safety policy, various steps are there. The first step is research and gather information. How we can do this? For this, we can start this by conducting thorough research on industries, specific regulation, best practices and standards pertaining to safety. Identify the potential hazards and risks associated with your organization's activities and work environment by gathering all relevant information, including incident reports, safety guidelines, and legal requirements. The next step is identify stakeholders. We have to identify the key stakeholders who should be involved in the development and implementation of safety policy. This may include the top management, employees at all the levels, safety commitment, and external safety experts. After identify the stakeholders, we should go for objective establishment. Means the next step is establishment of objective. To achieve this, we should define clear and measurable safety objectives that aligns with your organizational overall goal and values. This objective may include reducing accident rates, eliminates work hazards, promoting safety cultures, and ensuring compliances with regulations. The next step is consultation and development. This involves employees of various departments or teams in the safety policy development process. Seek input and feedback from these individuals as they have valuable insight experience. Engaging employees in the development of the policy will increase their ownership and commitment to its implementation. After this, draft and safety policy means as we have completed all the processes, we have to draft the safety policy. For drafting, we should develop a comprehensive safety policy that addresses the identified risks and hazards. The policy should state organization's commitment to safety, provide guidelines for safety practices, clearly defines responsibilities, and outline reporting procedure for incidents. Use clear and straightforward words, language to ensure easy understanding by all the employees. Review and approval is the next step. It is a very important step. You all can share the draft safety policy with all the stakeholders, including top management and the safety committee, for review and feedback. Address every concern or suggestion and make necessary revision. Seek the final approval from management before proceeding to the implementation phase. The next step is communication and training. This ensures effective communication and training is essential for successful implementation. Develop a communication plan to inform all the employees about the new safety policy and their responsibility. Conduct training sessions to educate employees on the policy, safety work practice, emergency procedures, and reporting mechanisms. Training should be ongoing to address any changes or updates to the policy. The next step is actual implementation of the policy. For implementation, we have to roll out the safety policy and its related procedures along with any necessary supporting materials or resources. We have to monitor and assess the actual implementation to ensure compliances and identify any gaps or area for improvement. For the next step, what we have to do? We have to evaluate and continuous improvement. Regularly, what we have to go for? Evaluation the effectiveness and impact the safety policy. Collect and analyze the safety data including incident report, near misses, and compliances reports. Review the policy periodically. Use the evaluation findings to continuously improve safety practices and policies. After understanding of developing and implementation of safety policies, it is very important to consider some general safety policies rules that can be tailored to fit the needs of any organizations. The first rule is the personal protective equipment. In short, we can say PPE. It means that all employees must wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as helmets, safety glasses, gloves, masks, hearing protection and safety footwears when necessary. The second rule is hazard identification and reporting. All employees are responsible for identifying and reporting any potential hazards or unsafe conditions promptly to their supervisor or the designated safety personnels. The next rule we can say is the safety work practice. It means that employees must follow safe work practice including proper use of equipments, machineries, tools and adherence to establishment procedure and protocols. The next rule is emergency procedure. It means that employees should familiarize themselves with emergency protocols, evacuation routes, assembly points and procedures for reporting emergencies. The next rule is the training and education. Employees are required to attend mandatory safety training programs and continuously update their knowledge and skill related to safety. The next rule we can say is incident reporting. What it means? It means that all incident, accident, injuries, near misses or property damages must be reported immediately to the appropriate personnel designated in the safety policy. The next rule we have is for alcohol and drug free workplace. Employees are prohibited from working under the influence of alcohol, illegal drugs or any substances that impair their ability to perform their duties safely. The next rule we can say is for housekeeping. What we can do in this? We have to maintain a clean and organized workspace is essential for preventing trips, slips, falls and the other accidents. Employees should keep their work areas tidy and report any spills to the appropriate personnel. The next we have is the electrical safety. This is very important rule. In this rule, employee must follow electrical safety guidelines including proper grounding, handling of electrical equipment, reporting any electrical malfunctions or hazards. The next we have environmental protection. In this, employees should be aware of and adhere to environmental regulations and protection to minimize the impact on the environment. Contractors and visitor safety. This is very important. Contractors and visitors must comply with all applicable safety policies and procedures while on the regulations premises. They should be provided with all appropriate safety information and supervised when they required. This all are just examples and it's essential for organization to customize their safety policy, rules to address specific hazards and risk present within their operation. Additionally, regular communication and training on the safety policy rules are crucial to ensure compliances and a safe working environment. As we know, there are two sections of our session. First one was safety policy and the second one was budgeting for safety. So now we are going to start the budgeting section, the second part of our module. What do you mean by the budgeting of safety? Budgeting in safety involves allocating financial resources to support safety initiative and implementation of safety measures and programs within an organization. It covers a range of activity including training, equipment purchases, safety audits, inspection hazard identification, and mitigation safety communication. Budgeting consideration in safety should include regular reviews of existing safety programs, identification of safety gaps, and need prioritization of safety projects and evaluation of cost-effective measures. Now, we will understand the steps which are involved for budgeting. For budgeting, there are a number of steps like for the safety policy. The first step for budgeting of the safety is identify safety needs. For this, we have to conduct a thorough assessment of your organization safety needs, considering factors such as type of work, industry regulation, and potential hazards. Identify area where safety improvement or investment are required, such as purchasing safety equipments or implementing safety training programs. Estimate cost. This is the next step. Once you have identified the safety needs, estimate the cost associated with each item or activity. This may include the cost of purchasing safety equipments, conducting safety audits or inspection, training programs, or hiring safety professionals. The next step is prioritize expenditure. First, determine the prioritize of each safety item based on its level of risk or impact on employee safety. Allocate funds accordingly, giving higher priorities to the safety needs. Consider the potential consequence of not considering certain safety issues and priorities accordingly. Set a safety budget is the next step. Based on the estimated cost and priorities, set a budget specially for safety initiative. This budget should include all necessary expenses, ensures that the budget is realistic and adequate to meet identified safety needs. Review available resources. Assess the available resources and finding source for safety initiative. Consider your organization overall budget and grants or subsidies available for safety improvement and necessary legal requirements related to safety. Seek management approval. You all can present safety budget approval to the top management for review and approval. Prepare a well-structured presentation that highlights the importance of safety, identified needs, and cost estimate. Clearly, the outline and expected benefits and potential cost saving that can result from prioritizing safety. Monitor and track expenses. For implementing a system of tracking, monitoring and controlling safety-related expenses, keep accurate record of all safety expenditures and compare them to allocate budget. Regularly review and adjust the budget as necessary to ensure that it remains on track. The next step for budgeting is evaluation of cost effectiveness. By periodically evaluation of cost effectiveness of your safety initiative, assess whether the expense incurred or delivering the expected result in terms of improvement safety informations, reduce incidents or accidents, and compliances with regulation. If necessary, make adjustment to your budget and reallocate funds to more effective safety initiatives. Always remember, a budget for safety should not be seen as a one-time expense, but rather as a ongoing investment in well-being of your employees as success of your organization. Regularly review and update your budget to ensure that it meets the changing safety needs and prioritize your organization. At the end, we can conclude in the way that where the money is spent on health and safety, whether this is meeting legal obligation or going beyond compliances, this must be seen as an investment, and like any investment, it must have a return. There is no doubt that well set goal, a clear understanding of what we will be achieved, and the budget to achieve the pays real benefit to any organization or company. At the end, I would like to complete or summarize the overall session. At the starting, we started with the safety policy. After the safety policy, we have covered the development and implementation of safety policies. After this, we have covered the basic rules for safety policy. Then we have entered into the next session for budgeting for safety. In the budgeting for safety, we have first understand that what is actually the budgeting. After the budgeting, we have covered the steps those are involved for creating budgeting. At the end, we got the conclusion that we should always go for budgeting and safety. At the end, I would like to conclude my session by saying safety is not an expensive, it's priceless. To create policy and invest in budget and be safe. Thank you so much.